So I saw this tweet float across my timeline, and it caught my eye. I dream of the day I'm important enough to end up on one of these problematic VTubers callouts. And you know what? First of all, same. That sounds fun and hilarious. Gotta love when the internet tries to cancel people for stupid reasons. But I actually pulled up the tweet, stole this from a mutual, but please read. And it's like this list of alleged sins that VTubers have committed, like Vox Akama. I find him seeing Luxium as a family, then continue to simp after them later on a kind of weird... What? What does this sentence even mean? I refuse to give this any credence whatsoever. And you know what? I feel like this person sums up the whole thing. I don't know who you are, but just don't watch VTubers if you just purely hate them. Like, why are you so obsessed with VTubers if you hate them? What is with this cancel document just full of a list of random sins, some of which you make no attempt to verify, some of which you can barely verify just with a possible connection to another person who possibly might have done something wrong? This is insanity. This is a level of obsession that is unhelpful. Go outside. Jesus. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Reimu and Vox. This man just attracts drama, I swear to God. Vox was going to be doing a boyfriend stream, which is where he does this thing that I personally dislike quite a bit, where you indulge in the parasocial relationship and pretend to be chat's boyfriend, which as VTubers, we complain a lot about the parasocial relationship, and the whole boyfriend-girlfriend streams play into that. And even though, yes, I agree that fans that say and do psychotic things shouldn't be tolerated regardless of circumstance, but you're directly playing into the parasocial relationship that you claim to hate. And it's so frustrating. But he scheduled one of these boyfriend streams, which again, I hate. And she said, "Kindreds, I love you. Don't kill me. I hope you have a nice date." Vox did a boyfriend roleplay ASMR stream, and Reimu messaged him during the stream, and some parasocial fans called her a bitch because she interrupted their date, which is just insane. And a shocking amount of people were furious. For example, this person here, after Reimu had popped into a stream, she said, "You really want to be his girlfriend, don't you? But the sad truth is, he just treats you as a good friend. I am so sorry for you. What a pity." Like, how obnoxious can you be? You just immediately assume that Reimu, his co-worker, wants to be his girlfriend, which she never said. And two, you don't own Vox either. What? Why are you getting defensive and snippy? Like, Vox isn't your boyfriend. He has a special relationship with you and his hundreds or thousands of other viewers on the same boyfriend stream. You're not special. Don't get possessive. It's weird. And I find that sentiment being echoed here by this person who says, if you think Vox's ASMR is your private time with him, you need to check the live viewer count. So true. And honestly, look, we keep getting VTubers flamed because the audience has this weird parasocial relationship with them. And as an arrow ace, I don't understand relationships at all. I think they're horrible. I think romantic relationships are inherently awful, and parasocial relationships are even worse. God, it's so gross and I hate it. So bro, normal relationships are awful enough. Why would you want to have a parasocial relationship? How did these develop? They're not dating you. You're not special to them. They're entertainers. I think I am in the unique position where I'll probably never have an obsessive parasocial relationship with myself and my fans, because I'm publicly arrow ace. I can tell y'all right now that I don't want a relationship with none of y'all. Fuck y'all. But thank you for watching. Now, thankfully, after this stupid drama hit and Reimu was getting absolutely flamed by Vox stans, because she interrupted their date. Shortly afterwards, her fans came through with this huge wave of support. They came through with a love bomb, and they made her day just a little bit better. And I think that's lovely. You love to see the fans really coming through to make an entertainer's day better. As someone who gets really invested into the fan base and reads every comment, I gotta say, you know, sometimes a couple of nice comments are the thing that keep us going. So I'm happy she received some love, and I can vouch from personal experience that you might not think that random comments on the internet hurt, but like, we're not robots. We have feelings too. So I'm happy that the fan base came out and made the whole situation just a little bit better. It's lovely to see. Now, after this debacle, Vox came out on stream and denounced the hate, and he got to the point pretty fast. And in my opinion, it is the bare minimum to just tell your fans to not be assholes, but I'm still glad that he addressed the situation rather than letting it sit and just fester and get worse. Even though in an ideal world, we creators should not be held responsible for the actions of our fans, if we have the ability to stop them from doing something negative, it is still our moral obligation to do it. It doesn't sound like it should, but it does require a certain level of courage to stand up to your own fan base. They're the ones who made you who you are, so it is stressful to like denounce their actions. So props to Vox for saying what needed to be said, because a lot of people, a lot of content creators just don't have the balls to do that. While I was on Twitter just looking for random comments about parasocial relationships, I found this comment and it just made me laugh. Parasocial relationships are unhealthy. I don't give a fuck. Felix was gonna kiss me. I'm going to assume that is a joke. It has to be a joke because that's fucking funny. I don't give a fuck. Y'all remember Porin, the VTuber who came out and said that she was gone for so long because she had been the victim of human trafficking? The Chinese police have come up with the statement saying that no such abduction ever happened. And here's the problem. It is possible that Porin lied, concocted this story as a way to gain sympathy and come back after a long hiatus with a bang and get a bunch of attention. That could be what happened. But I would like to remind you that this is the Chinese police that we're dealing with, and I don't trust them worth shit. It is entirely possible that whole scandal was never real. But I have to admit, I'm just so extremely biased against any sort of Chinese authority, because if you follow international news at all, you know Chinese police are scummy and corrupt and would say or do anything to maintain a good public image. So if after seeing tweets like this, you no longer believe that Porin was telling the truth and you're mad and you're thinking about going after Porin and making hate comments towards them, I just want to dissuade you, because she could be telling the truth and be just being suppressed and belittled by an authoritarian regime that is wholly corrupt and wholly untrustworthy. So it's kind of just a he said, she said. Those are my final thoughts on that situation. All right, enough VTuber news. Let's talk about general news. So they're making an edgy version of Scooby Doo called Velma. All right, there's so much to unpack here in this image. First of all, Velma's black. Second of all, Daphne's naked. And third of all, some dude is fucking decapitated. What the fuck is going on? The image was designed to shock people, and it succeeded. I'm shaken. I'm shooketh. There's so much going on in this. Number one, it feels kind of weird to have a kid's cartoon be remade to be like edgy and adult. I feel like this could be really good or genuinely horrendous depending on how good the writing is. I have absolutely no idea who Mindy Kaling is, so I hope she is a good writer. I don't know. Second of all, like, it is kind of weird that like Daphne's naked. I don't care that it's Daphne that's naked. I just generally don't like nudity in TV shows because it feels like it's a cheap attention grab. It feels like it's put there just so it can get the TVMA rating and to show, oh, this show isn't for kids, meh, or whatever. And thirdly, Velma being black is kind of interesting. It feels like if you're gonna make the character a different ethnicity and take the show in a completely different direction, it kind of feels like you've just made a completely different show and just attached a couple of well-known names to it. It feels like you've made a new character, a new show, you've made something unique, but then you just wanted the name recognition, so you just stapled on Scooby Doo on top of a show that you already wanted to make. So, I don't know. I feel like there's an equal chance that this could be great or horrendous, and it's all down to the writing. If anyone knows anything about Mindy Kaling, I'd love to know her previous work, because that's gonna 100% decide how good this show is. So, that's my opinion on it. Let's see what the internet has to say. I'm sure everyone will have measured and intelligent responses. There's literally no point in using the Scooby Doo character other than to colonize the character and annoy people. I have no idea what you mean by colonize the character, but I do agree that the show exists explicitly to annoy people. Mindy Kaling has created an R-rated Scooby Doo reboot called Velma with fire and full frontal nudity. Wait, what? I know, right? That was my reaction too. What in the goddamn hell is this? I love the enthusiasm. I'm here for the enthusiasm. I don't know why motherfuckers are upset at this, cause I think this looks fucking cool. You know what, I do gotta admit, at the very least, at the very minimum, it looks entertaining as hell. As long as the show is entertaining and fun to watch, I don't care about anything else. So I agree with Santana, it does look like it could potentially be pretty entertaining. I'm so sick of these attempts at edgy reboots. Grow up. I mean, you could take him or leave him. It's all about the quality of the show. Batman had an edgy reboot in the form of The Dark Knight and everybody loved it, so I feel like the fact that it's edgy isn't the problem. Writing will be. LMFAO, Jesus, okay, I'll give it a shot. You gotta at least watch the first episode after a screenshot like that. You want to make a Scooby Doo for adults? Return it to its atheistic roots? All cartoons were atheistic. There's never been religion in cartoons. What? Stop making doos where magic is real. Okay. No. I'm 100% on his side. I don't like Scooby-Doo where the magic is real. The whole point of the original series is that the monsters were always just a dude in a suit. And that's what made the mystery a fucking mystery, is that magic isn't real, so there is a mystery to be solved. If the answer is just magic, then that's not really an answer. It's not a mystery if the answer is magic. That's a cop-out, it's cheap, it's bullshit. I don't like it. I don't like Scooby-Doo with real magic. It's dumb. Alright, this is a take that I've seen a lot. I wish more people understood you can make something for adults with shoehorning in gore and nudity. And I agree and disagree. I feel like gore and nudity do have a place in storytelling. There are ways to use it to tell a good story. The problem is when it's used for cheap shock factor and then not followed up on. And that's the reason I'm worried about this show, is like, if there is a legitimate reason for gore, it is a mystery. So if it's a murder mystery, it makes sense for the murder to be gruesome. Solving a gruesome murder makes for an interesting plot. That is a potentially valid reason. Nudity, generally against it. I feel like it's out of place. Like if you wanted to watch porn, just watch porn. Why would you want like 30 seconds of porn in an otherwise normal TV show? Like those are separate things. What better way to show it's for adults? Look at how many people immediately showed interest and started talking about it. And he's correct, but that just proves that the show is using it to promote. They know that having a shocking image is going to get people like me talking about it and spread awareness of the show. It is objectively a marketing tactic. Like, I am under no illusions. Even though I think it's going to be entertaining, I'm under no illusion that it's not purely a marketing tactic. I do more or less agree with this follow-up point though. Like, gore and sex will without a doubt immediately show families that these are not kid-friendly shows, and he is 100% correct. Objectively, that is true. Whether or not you like it or not is entirely up to you, but when you want to display that a show is for adults, it's the easiest way to do so. I just want it to be handled well. And there's been a lot of talk about Velma being black, and Mr. Visual's out here saying, motherfuckers arguing about cartoon character skin color, meanwhile Das is near almost $5 a gallon. Oh my god. There are more important things to bicker about, but this is the internet. We love to bicker about pointless things. Bickering about pointless shit is my entire job description. Also, I don't have a car, so I don't have to worry about gas prices, so get owned, nerds. You own a car? Nah. Car free, gang. This is gonna be great. I don't care what anybody says. I like the enthusiasm. All this talk about her skin color, meh. In the last decade, she's been depicted as having East Asian made-for-TV movies and Hispanic Scoob roots. I did not know that. I had no idea that it was a thing. My issue is with the departure from the franchise norms. No dog, no van, and rumored characterization changes. That's why I'm not sold. I had no idea that Velma had previously been portrayed as Asian and Hispanic. Interesting. It's interesting that there's a precedent for that and I didn't even hear about it. From what it looks like, there's so many changes to the characters between their personality, skin color, and general tone of the show. It feels like the writer just made a completely different show, not a Scooby Doo show, and then just stapled on the Scooby Doo gang to it for nostalgia factor, which is weird. If the writing is good, I won't be mad, but if the writing is bad, that's what people are going to point to as to why it's bad. It's the stapling on these characters when you didn't have to. Question, does this really have to be R-rated or aimed at adults? It could work just fine for a general audience. This is just an excuse to put low to mid gore Scooby Doo, isn't it? The whole premise is that it's a Scooby Doo for adults. I understand why you don't like that premise. I'm all for a more mature adult Scooby Doo, so I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 more because it's the only thing I care about. Will the writing be good? Because if the writing is good and it's an adult-oriented Scooby Doo, I would watch the shit out of it. I feel like there's a good reason to make things that were made for kids, made for adults, because as an adult, you remember those shows. Like, kids of the next generation aren't going to have any nostalgia for these old shows, so it doesn't make sense to reboot them for a new audience where you have to start from scratch. You have to start from zero and try to rebuild what used to be, and it'll never quite be the same. It'll never be as good when you're doing a reboot. So why not make a reboot for an audience that's going to care, an audience that remembers these characters? So you shall see. But yeah, that is everything I wanted to talk to you guys about. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.